So let me just kind of give you a little bit of flavor of what's been happening. So as people know that I have a real job, okay, and my real job is criminal appeals, okay. And I will say the first thing is if you know, I'm one of a team of 3. We're adding 2 more, so really 5 criminal appellate lawyers that work on death penalty appeals. Now,
which is the big leagues, folks. That's the major league.
The major leagues. It is kind of the pinnacle of criminal law. Sadly, I don't like being on the top of this mountain, and I will say that I do not really enjoy it. They pay me decently, and I know what I'm doing when it comes to it, but it is extremely complex and difficult. Now, that being said, there's 6 DCAs now in Florida that do it. Let's assume there's 5 lawyers in each appellate office, each one of those DCAs that does criminal death appeals. That means there's probably 30 lawyers in public defender's office that handle capital appeals. So I'm one of a team of about 30 people in the state of Florida that handles death penalty appeals. Now, if you've been following the news, Governor DeSantis, I love Governor DeSantis. I'm a big Governor DeSantis supporter. However, we vastly 100% opposite disagree on this topic. The legislature, the Republican legislature, and Governor DeSantis have gotten very aggressive in cleaning out death row and imposing death sentences on people. Okay, so with that, they are. I'm kind of in that. The people that impacts are sitting right here. You understand? I've got this is. You should see. I'm on part of something called a listserv, which is death penalty people that are involved across the state on listserv, and that listserv, it's blowing up so much. There's so much motion practice and there's so much stuff going on, and it's very complex. Just to keep up with the listserv is taking a lot of my focus and attention at work. All right. Now, I will say that I have a little break because my death case, I have another death penalty appeal coming in on May 3rd. So I expect that to happen. So I've got a little window in time in which my life is sane. Now let's talk about what's actually happening on the ground in Florida and to give you a flavor of this. And Andrew, I don't think I've told you about this, but I'll share it with you. There was a very serious, I don't know what it is, 6 people killed. Quadruple, what's quadruple? What's 6?
Septuple?
A septuple homicide in Deltona, Florida. It was called the Xbox murders. People might know it. A fellow named Victorino and another fellow named, I think it's Jerome Hunter, which will probably be coming my way. All right, but they're handled by a conflict council because we handled one of the group of 4 that went and killed 6 people. We handled one of those people not being Victorino. All right, so they went in and they killed a bunch of kids over an Xbox. Very bad case. So what happened was he's objectively was subject to the death penalty. It's been kicked back because for a variety of reasons. So he's subject to a new resentencing. The resentencing is simply for the purposes of imposing death. The jury must impose death. It can't be a judge imposing death. It has to be a jury. So the only question before the court is life in prison without parole or death.
Right. So Steve, it's not that the jury must impose death, but if death is to be imposed, it must be from a jury.
Exactly. Perfect. So they picked a jury. The death penalty must be unanimous, right? They picked a jury, impaneled the jury, swore the jury. Then Governor DeSantis signed the bill reducing the burden on the state from a unanimous jury verdict finding of death to a recommendation of 8-4. So 8 people must vote for death. 4 people can vote life, and he can get death. So in that case, and so then what happened? So that was signed. Then there was the state moved to impose the new law on the jury that was just impaneled for the panel. The judge denied the motion. The state then moved for a stay at the 5th District Court of Appeal, which is my district. The 5th District stayed the order while the jury has been picked, right? They've been picked, sworn, and impaneled, stayed the decision until they can review the pleadings. No matter what the 5th does, it's going to go to the Florida Supreme Court. No matter what the Florida Supreme Court does, it's going to go to the U.S. Supreme Court. So here we are in appellate world. So this stuff is happening as we speak. I don't know if people are even following this, but it's kind of my entire. I will say it's so overwhelming that it frightens me. The amount of complexity and burden. I will say that the 8-4 thing is ridiculous. I mean, why should there be a lesser burden in the most serious crime, the most serious thing? It's insanity.
We will take a vote to decide on the termination of.
But we're very aggressive in Florida. I think he sees political favor. Most people favor the death penalty, and he's playing politics with this. I'm very much against it. On the other hand, I'm very much for Governor DeSantis's pro-choice on schools, school choice and school vouchers. He's very aggressive on that. Good job, DeSantis. I love what he's doing in Disney. Good job, DeSantis, right? But this one, I vastly disagree, and I'm intimately involved.